When I stepped off the plane, all I craved was silence. 18 hours of nonstop business calls, flight attendants, and forced smiles had drained me. But as my driver turned onto my street, the quiet I found wasn't the kind I had hoped for. A red "Sold" sign was planted firmly in the front yard of my new house. My house, the one I had spent 6 years painstakingly building, brick by brick, rising from the ruins of a failed marriage and a nearly bankrupt startup. I froze. A moving truck idled at the curb, half the furniture gone. My sister leaned against the porch railing, sunglasses perched atop her hair, a smug glass of something bright in her hand. "Single mothers don't need fancy houses," she said, smirking. "You'll thank me someday." She slid into the back of my parents' SUV, luggage stacked like trophies behind her, and they drove off toward the airport. Hawaii, a family trip I wasn't invited to. At that moment, something in me stopped breaking. Something started calculating. I used to trust her. When our parents played favorites, I defended her. When she couldn't pay rent, I wired her money. When my husband left, she was the first to appear with wine and sympathy. I thought blood meant loyalty. Turns out it just meant access. The house had been in my name, yet somehow she'd convinced my parents, my co-signers during construction, to authorize the sale, citing power of attorney I had foolishly granted them while away on an overseas deal. They sold it, took the money. But here's what they didn't know. While closing that $2 million deal abroad, I wasn't just representing my firm. I was securing a personal partnership that would make me liquid, independent, and untouchable. Emotionally, I wanted to scream. Financially, I was ready to disappear. The next week, I moved quietly. No confrontation, no calls, just silence. I rented a small apartment under a different name, transferred my accounts into a trust, and let my lawyer, who owed me more than one favor, handle the rest. I didn't want revenge fueled by anger. I wanted precision. Step 1. Trace the money. The sale proceeds had gone into my parents' joint account. Easy. Within a week, I flagged every transaction for investigation under suspicion of fraud. Their accounts froze, like ice running through their veins. Step 2. My sister. She had begun posting from Hawaii, cocktails, ocean views, captions about manifesting abundance. Her brand depended on her image, and I knew exactly how to shatter it. I leaked internal documents from her business collaborations, contracts she had faked using my company's logo without permission. I sent them to every brand she had tagged. By the time she realized, her sponsors were gone, her accounts locked, and her management team had dropped her. Step 3 was quieter. My parents' house was old, heavily mortgaged, and I knew their payments were always late. I bought the debt through a shell company. Then I called in the loan. Legally, they had 60 days. Emotionally, they had none. They returned from Hawaii, bronzed, smiling, but broke. I watched from across the street the day the eviction notice went up. My mother's face turned pale at the letterhead, the same corporate name for my overseas partnership. My father kept muttering, "It's a mistake." It wasn't. And my sister? She didn't say a word. She just stared at me from the driveway as I stood calm, holding my coffee. Her voice cracked first. "You did this." I nodded once. "No," I said. "You did." For the first time, she looked small. Not because she lost a house, but because she finally understood I was no longer the sister who forgave. I had become the one who learned. People talk about revenge like fire, something that burns everything in its path. The truth? It's ice. Numb first, then preserves. Keeps the memory sharp. I didn't relish watching them pack into the same type of moving truck that once emptied my driveway. But I didn't feel guilty either. They took my home. I took their foundation. Balance restored. When the last truck pulled away, I walked past their empty yard. The red "Sold" sign still stood, faded and leaning slightly. I ran my fingers over the word, then turned away. The next morning, I closed on a new house, this time under my company's name, Untouchable. People think revenge is about getting even. It's not. It's about ending the conversation. Mine ended the moment they realized there was no one left to call. Nowhere left to return to. Now, when I wake to silence, it's the kind I always wanted.